Yo,
뭔지.
put it. by 12 rotations.
I also usually don't do this, but I am feeling quite generous right now. But I believe that Archon Raiden is hosting a jug chat soon. If any of you are interested, just thought I'd spread awareness about that.
Oh no, Veridius is
However,
gonna
when
glaze
you
us.
join the game, form an STS in the rows of. I want to do rows of 4. Do rows of 4. And obviously the commanders can step up. However, like, yeah, that's fine. X, come with us, brother. You're an ST by heart. Come on.
God forbid we ever do that map ever again.
God
I'm just gonna say no.
Duke
Man.
Sheik next time.
Bro, honestly,
Wait.
I'd rather do like Mustafar than kamino.
Honestly, bro. Fuck.
I'd rather do Mustafar,
That
bro.
map
What
is
the
so
heck?
bad.
It's yo.
The hogwater ass map, boy.
Is this a debrief? What's going on now?
Yeah, we're just doing a little debrief.
I have one thing to say about one of the rounds about the bridge.
Which one?
A lot of people left.
when everybody was fighting on the bridge and we said don't fight on the bridge, pull back to the
Yes.
center platform. That round.
Yeah.
Oh my days.
Alright. Oh, also, these fucking knobheads were making fun of me and Celtic before the raid. Were like, oh, you can wait for your beans on toast for after the raid. Yeah, suck your mum, mate. Oh my, that is a lot of ST right now. How many do we have? 11? 10? Oh, TP, are you here? Raise you up. Alright. I'm gonna bring Vaughn up because he was in both stages, and obviously
Yeah,
I've
been DMing him.
criticism.
Yeah, I've been DMing.
Hold on. I gotta fix my mic.
Yeah, we're not debriefing yet. We're getting everyone here first, so I can be more organized.
I'm gonna grab a drink first.
Honestly, bro, my fucking throat hurts. Is this everyone? 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, then ST, 12, that's 31, that makes sense. So, I'm gonna put out criticism to everyone, including myself. So, for the first round, I think that was executed perfectly. You guys listened to the game plan. The amount of people that I saw get slapped off on their team, amazing. When we pulled back onto the center platform and we fought as a team, they absolutely got decimated. I think we only lost about 11 out of 36, which obviously
But yeah, it's only 11.
still room for improvement, but you know, 11 out of 36 in the first round was great. So well done for that first round. You guys listened to everything. Second round, I believe we lost, and I can't remember why. I think it was just they overwhelmed.
It was
us
conflicting orders. You had very conflicting orders.
Oh yeah, that was it. It was the round where we jumped
Yeah.
on the roof, then tried going inside. Yeah, so that round, that was my fault. That was Celtic's fault. Kai Knight was right. We kept swapping plans too much. We decided to jump on the roof, and then one of us said, "Oh, let's go to the bridge." One of us said, "Go inside." Scattered comms, scattered our team. It's not your guys' fault. You were like probably thinking, "Oh, are we on the bridge or are we inside?" So I understand that. I take accountability for it. Celtic probably does too.
Yeah.
So that's our fault.
My bad.
The round after that, we won again. But however, even if we did win, the amount of times that I shouted, fight on the centre platform instead of the bridge, and you guys were still pulling back to the other side of the map practically, was unacceptable. Yeah, it's fine, Vess, I won't. I wasn't going to anyways, but... that round, besides the miscoordination, we won the round. That's all that matters. However, I wasn't happy with the overall performance of that round. The round after that, I thought we could try a holding play because we didn't try it. And Celtic was right after that. We had no exit point, unlike them. We kind of just had to start retreating to slopes. However, they could retreat to bridge, and it kind of overwhelmed us, so that was my bad. The last round, again, you guys were failing at times to listen to orders. However, you did play your life a bit better. I'm going to credit these guys, even though it was accidental. Emperor and whoever that ST was, who dragged about seven. Yeah. No. There was an ST and Emperor.
Morok.
It was Morok. They dragged about 6-7 people's attention and made them drop down, almost impossible for them to go back up.
The Jedi are so stupid. I don't understand why they would just send 7 people to deal with 2 people. It allowed us to search
Well,
there.
if I can ask, who were those 7 people? TG by chance?
Nope.
No,
it was just a
wasn't.
bunch of random kids.
A couple blunders I saw on the Jedi's part is that for the first 2 rounds, they had a fucking music bot up on their stage blaring white girl music.
What?
And then I also noticed that their TG wasn't in their main rally call. They had a separate call with TG, and like that can work on a different map, but not this map. No, you need all your forces in one call on this map, because your side force is not going to be able to act as well as it can if it doesn't know exactly what the main force is doing. Because you don't know what the hell the main force is going to do. Are they going to be on bridge? Are they going to be on platform? Are they going to be on roof? We don't know. So that was a big blunder on their part. I think that if this went to 5, I think the Jedi might have won. Just because, like, they have this tendency to team fight a little bit better than you guys without commands. Because their commanders were kind of fucking quiet as shit. They didn't say anything. You guys are better in ones. They're better in teams. And I think that if their commanders got their shit together, they probably would have won. Just because of all the conflicting orders on this side. There was people just aggroing their asses off on this side, and
saw it a lot.
A lot, and they aren't to be taken lightly. This was a 2-3. This was by the nails. Same way how you guys aren't to be taken lightly, because the last fight it was 4-5. Don't rest on your laurels. The Jedi made the mistake of doing that. Do not do what they did.
Yep, I agree, and like I said, this is our first raid with new commanders that have never worked together. So I've personally never worked with Celtic, Kyanite, and Dutch. However, I will admit they had good micromanaging when it needed to be there. Few honourable fighters that I thought I'd point out was X made a very good one. He'd dash in at times, and this is what I mean. You need to know when to be aggressive. X would dash in, get a kill, and come straight back out, because he sees it. Astra, 1 round, 7 kill streak. Bread, first round, great. Emperor, that last round, dragging them off, and...
Morok.
Sorry. I don't know what's called him. Morok, Kado, Strong. So, Kado, I'm going to call you Kado. Kado, you two. Overall, I'm impressed. However, there is a lot of room to improve. I agree. What I spot a lot in NSO is you guys 1v1 too much. There's too many 1v1 events. You use the mats all the time for 1v1s. At the end of the day, I could care less in terms of 1v1 ability. And I'm going to make an example. You look at me, for example. I'm better at Callie. I'm better than Callie at 1v1s. But when it comes to team fighting, Callie's a 10 times the better player.
I have another example for you.
Huh?
Bamps is their sword of the order. I have never seen him go on a high kill streak in raids.
So I mean, 1v1s don't fucking matter. They don't matter at all. People will notice to realise that. I want to see you guys be creative on mats, because that's what I do with these guys. I don't ever say, let's go to stasis and 1v1. I always make them do team fights, 2v2s to get used to fighting with each other. 3v3s, 4v4s, outnumbered. I want to see you guys start doing more of that on mats. It may not sound fun, but it actually is quite fun, you know, fighting in
quite fun,
in my opinion.
Yeah.
It is.
Kyanite, Cow, and Raiden, if you're gonna host an IPR, start hosting more IPRs without raid points. Like, do like an IPR that we did with Kamino. And also check the events guideline. You can also host a universal combat training. Use those for team battles practice and health rotations. Because, like Van said and Chaos, we're better in 1v1s, but we're worse in team fights against the Jedi, and we need to be good in both.
That's what I mean. Like, I am like going to admit this. You look at their average player, we fucking shit on them in average players. However, because they're better at team fighting than us, it brings them closer to us in terms of skill gap. I will gladly say that. Gladly. And fair play to them, because they probably do more IPRs on maps like Kamino, Coruscant, where it's not raid points. Because raid points is what's his name?
I don't see a lot of IPRs. I don't see a lot of IPRs from them, actually. I think you guys do more IPRs than they do. I just think it's like a general thing.
Relevant.
Which in general, okay, so let me point out something. When you were speaking about XI4 and people being aggressive because they know when to look, I'm just gonna say it simply: you either have it or you don't. What I mean by that is 99% of you guys are not gonna be able to know when to go in and when to not to go in. That's fine. So you listen to the commander's orders, you follow what they say, and you sit back. XI4 might be able to, okay, I see this pick, I'm gonna go and kill this guy real quick, get a pick on this red health because I have high ACM, and I'm gonna back up because I know I'm gonna survive. Not everybody can see that, and not everybody can point that out. So just when you're fighting, make sure that your life is the most precious thing, not other people's lives, not your life is the most important thing you can worry about in a raid. Especially since in these types of TDM styles, our entire score is based on how many people are alive. If we're all dead, if we're all alive. So just